Mr. Speaker, this may be the last time I get to address this hallowed chamber, and for that, I thank you for this opportunity. I want to start by thanking my staff. It may come as a surprise to some of my colleagues as well as the press, but I do have some flaws. And my staff worked with me for 2 years, some of them even longer. And together, we accomplished an extraordinary amount for the great people of Southern Brooklyn and Staten Island. And as I leave to pursue new adventures, I want to depart, though, with a few words of optimism for our great country, as well as a warning. We live in a tough time for truth, and it's causing faith in our government to corrode. There's not a person in this chamber who thinks the American people trust us. Not a person sitting here right now who thinks the American people believe in our government. This didn't happen overnight. It was death by 1,000 disappointments, 1,000 scandals, 1,000 lies broken by politicians who mock a virus until it kills their neighbor, who carve us up into blue states and red states, yet have the nerve to question someone else's patriotism, who saw no problem whatsoever giving $1 trillion tax cut to big pharma and companies that are killing our planet. But then they clutch their pearls when we say we want to be there for poor people, when we say we want to be there for the most vulnerable. But you know, during my few years in politics, I've seen how we can beat back this festering cynicism. When we fight like hell for what is right, especially for those who need us most. When we bring converts to our side by promoting truth where there is injustice, by appealing to common sense and, God forbid, humanity. I've seen constituents who thought their government was there only to screw them over begin to hope that maybe that wasn't the case when we passed the Victims' Compensation Fund, when we cut through the red tape to finally begin the construction of the East Shore Seawall, the largest resiliency project in New York City. I saw it when we reunited families torn apart by the racist Muslim ban, and when we secured millions to combat the opioid epidemic. In retrospect, those were the good days. And then there were days when it felt like our politics was absolutely irredeemable. When a peaceful march for justice in my community was used as a weapon to tell my constituents that it's impossible to believe that Black lives matter while also believing that the vast majority of police officers are heroes. Those marchers were called thugs. They were called rioters, just for believing that peaceful protests could change this country. The public was told that their movement was dangerous, not something you should listen to, but something you should be afraid of. Yet those who saw it with their own eyes, the truth cut through all those smears. I remember being outside of a supermarket. It was raining. I was miserable. An off-duty police officer came up to talk to me. He assured me he was no Democrat, but he'd been working that day of the march. Been skeptical, but those young men and women, they changed his mind, and he was proud of them. That officer saw past the lies, past the differences others have used to divide us. He witnessed his fellow Americans in pain, and for him, it changed everything. In typical Staten Island fashion, though, right after, he told me he wasn't going to vote for me and that I was going to lose for 1,000 other reasons. But conversations like that, they've refreshed my memory, my faith that this country can one day live up to its promise. We can put the government back on the side of working people from New York City to Washington, D.C., and everywhere in between. That's the America we know is possible, one where in the face of unimaginable vitriol, we don't hate back. In the face of unimaginable adversity, we don't give up fighting. Until it doesn't matter what you look like or where you come from, but in this country, you can accomplish your dreams. A safe America, a just America, our America. You know, in light of recent electoral results, some have begun to wonder if Democrats should soft pedal the fight for equal justice, if they should take a step back from fighting for economic security, or even just give up. I'm here to say absolutely not. This cannot wait. Justice cannot wait. If you aren't willing to risk everything to build a better country, then you do not belong here in the first place. To close, Mr. Speaker, representing Staten Island and South Brooklyn has been the honor of my life. On behalf of Lee, Miles, and myself, I want to thank the people of the 11th Congressional District for this extraordinary privilege. I'm not sure what life has in store for us, but I will be on the front lines making sure our city and country live up to its promise. May God bless my colleagues with the strength to do what is right, and may God bless this great country. Thank you. I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentleman.